Hey guys, welcome back to Bear's Workshop. In today's video, I wanted to talk to something that's been irritating me for quite a while, and it's just been building up. I wanted to talk about the dealership model that is currently out there. The sales dealership model, I believe it's going to die a slow and painful death due to DTC. DTC is directly to consumers. I want to put it out there and say that dealerships are frauds, and they're going to die a slow and painful death. And I want to stand by that. I want to tell you why. I want to get your guys' opinion. And if you disagree with me, all I'm going to do is come back with another video saying why you're wrong. I know that's kind of obnoxious, but I'm not holding back on this video. I typically hold back. I try to be very objective on things with all my past videos. And if you guys have watched before, you know that I am a very objective person. But why am I making this video? Because I'm trying to buy a car right now. And I have bought a lot of cars. And from dealerships, I have probably bought at least 50 cars. Could be closer to 100, but I have bought a lot of cars, and going into dealerships has always been a painful thing. In a way, I've kind of enjoyed it because you get to haggle and fight, and you feel like you got something when you've left, if you feel like that. Sometimes you don't. But for right now, I'm trying to buy a car. It's a car that I want to put on Turo. To help me increase my income. It's a business expense. So I don't desperately need this car. It's not something I need right now. But right now I'm running into the fact that almost every dealer is marking up the car $5,000 to $10,000. It's called an ADM in some markets, or it's just called a dealer adjustment. It's adjusted dealer markup or market adjustment. Different words, all the same thing. And in the past, I've seen ADMs on cars on, like, let's say, I've been in a dealership and I've seen a Mustang Shelby or a GT 500, and they'll put an extra $30,000 on it. And I've never tried to buy a car that have these markups because I'm not buying cars like that. I never do. So now they've got it on just about every car, $5,000 to $10,000. And why are they doing it? Well, because they can. They're saying that there's no profits in these cars. They have to keep the lights on and all sorts of other BS. And it is complete BS. It's all a bunch of lies. Their business model is set up to exist by selling the cars at less than MSRP. They've been doing this for decades. They will haggle with you. They'll sell you a car at less than their cost. And why do they do that? Because they can, because they're making money other ways. Their majority of their money is never on actually selling the car. Even though they do get people for MSRP in the past, it's not always, and most often not. People will haggle. Sometimes people do pay more than MSRP, not because they want the car that badly, it's just because they didn't understand that they just did. That's something that car dealerships have done in the past. But a lot of times you go in there, and if you're willing to sit there and fight for the price, you're going to get a lower price. And they may even take a loss on the sales price of the car, or at least the sales price that they're showing you. Most of their money is made on the kickbacks that they get from financing or the nonsense that they put on the car, the poo-poo. I'm gonna be nice and not, well, maybe I won't be, but it's the that they put on there that's not needed. Desert protection packages in the Southwest, rust protection, you've got pinstriping, you've got alarms, window tint that costs $500-600, different things like that. They'll add those things on. It's a bunch of profit for them. There's nothing really done to the car to get the value out of it. Don't forget extended warranties. Some people may like them, some people may not, but the amount of money that they charge for them gets a little obscene. The additional dealer markup is going to help kill the dealership model a lot sooner than what's already happening. Direct-to-consumer model is going to kill it. It's going to take a little longer, but doing this ADM stuff, it's really painful. Now, a lot of people say, well, this is just capitalism. It's not, because this is just pure greed, and it's disguised as capitalism. Why? Because behind this is corruption at a political level. And that's why this is not capitalism. So you can't tell me that this is. And it's not about supply and demand. The demand is around the same for the overall car purchases. As a matter of fact, there's been a lot less cars purchased over the last 2 years because of the C word. So demand is the same. It's the supply. And what's going on with the supply, everybody knows. There's several reasons. You got labor shortages. You've got bad ordering projections due to the C word. But we're not going to get into that part of this. It's like when toilet paper was in short supply, the demand actually went up. The supply was the same, demand went up, not for any good reason. So right now we have supply and demand, and now the supply's gone down, and it's gone down because of the manufacturers, and the manufacturers are responsible for this. I mean, you've got Tesla, their demand is way up, and it's not because of supply issues, though there is some aspects to that. They could be producing more, but they need the factories, and the factories are opening up. So that's it. But that's a different issue of why the demand is up. So just to get a little history on this, about 100 years ago, there's laws that were created to prevent manufacturers from selling cars right next to dealers. It would be unfair competition, and these dealerships would not be able to thrive. Obviously, because people would rather buy from the manufacturer than buy from a dealer. These laws are over 100 years old, and they vary state by state. And these laws are protected by the National Automobile Dealership Association, and that is a lobby group. And that's all they do, is they take their money and they go to politicians and they do this. This is where the corruption comes in. These types of laws, they prevent Tesla, Lucid, Rivian, which is a couple of EV manufacturers that are doing direct to consumer. They don't have dealerships, they have service centers, and they have showrooms where you could see these cars and test drive them, but it is not a sales dealership. So these companies use loopholes and other ways to get their cars delivered to the consumer. These loopholes that are there, they only make it harder for the consumer. It doesn't help anybody at all, except for the dealership model, because people want to be able to go into a place and buy a car right away. And it might be one of the few advantages, but you could still do that at these service centers because they do have limited inventory at times. So a new law that's out there, Oklahoma Bill HB 3994, which is 72 pages of glorious eye-closing reading, that states it will be illegal for a manufacturer to ship a car from out of state to someone in Oklahoma, an Oklahoma resident. Effectively saying, Tesla, you can't sell a car that you build in Texas to someone in Oklahoma. It would be illegal. That's comes down to what it is. This bill was authored by Mike Bobrinsky. So he and his brother Jim owned and operated Chevy dealerships in O'Keene and Kingfisher for over 35 years. You want to talk about conflict of interest? They are literally passing laws to benefit themselves, literally only themselves and the people that work for them. All this dude is doing is passing laws that builds money into his pocket. It prevents other car manufacturers from selling cars. This is something that's completely beneficial for him and has no benefit for the people in his district. Thanks, Mike. You're a real man of the people. We appreciate you. So how does this affect dealer markups? Well, these dealers and the Mike Wazowskis of the world are extremely afraid of the direct-to-consumer model. This would eliminate the need for a sales dealership. As it becomes more apparent that dealerships are middlemen in the sales process, it becomes easier to see the need to eliminate them. Since dealers can charge whatever they want, since DTC is not legal in many places, they can now charge markups that have no value. Example of the buying process through Tesla is you go online, you pick the car that you want, then your wife tells you what she wants for your car, and then you make those changes, and then you order the car. You fill out your information, you're just typing on a keyboard, and you click buy, you give them some credit card information to take the order fee, and then you move on to the next step, which is apply for financing. It's pretty much that simple. If you don't want to wait, you can look to see what's in inventory, which is not much different than going to a sales dealership and looking what's in inventory there. Right now, because of demand, there are less things in inventory, both online and at a dealership. So that's the buying process on say a Tesla. Obviously, you wait for the car, and then when the car comes in, you finish your paperwork up, which is really just you clicking a couple more boxes. And when you go to the Tesla service center, delivery center, you sign some papers that say that you bought the car, your financing is already in place, and everything is complete. That process, all that time that's added up, probably looking at about 15 minutes online. When you get there, you're probably looking at maybe another 30 minutes, but you're not dealing with people that are trying to get more money out of you. An example of a car buying process at a dealership, also, I can call it a stealership, but I don't want to get petty. You go in there, you shop, you look at 15 different cars. You've got a salesman who's telling you that he's your best friend and he's here for you. Always anything that they say to you, no matter whether it's the salesman all the way up to the owner of the place, please never believe anything that they say. They are there to sell you a car and make money. I understand that, and there's nothing wrong with that, except they're not your friend. They're looking out in their best interest. They are not a fiduciary, okay? So once you find a car, then you go through the whole waiting process of, okay, well, you found your car, they get the stock number, you wait 30 minutes for them to give you an offer, you go back and forth. This usually can take hours unless you just go, okay, I'll pay that. But even if you do say, okay, I'll pay that, then you got to wait for financing. And once you get to the financing guy, the financing is where they make all the money. And this is where they stand to lose a lot of money, because they're not necessarily going to make money on the sale of the car unless they have this additional dealer markup. So you go into the financing and then they sell you the financing. And remember, if they tell you that you got a rate of 4%, the bank is paying them probably 1% or 0.5% over the course of that loan. So whatever 0.5% for that whole deal would be, the bank is going to give that to the finance manager, to the dealership, and the finance manager makes money off of that. If you pay off the loan early, they actually take money back from them. So this is how that works. This is where they're making all their money. Then they're going to sell you the paint protection, the alarms, the insurance to protect you or someone. If you die, it'll pay for the car. The extended warranty, which oddly enough is also something that has a flexible price. So they're making tons of money on this. So where is the value in the consumer? There is none. Anything that the dealer offers you in the sales process can be done in other ways. Test drives, picking the car you want. I would say the only benefit I could possibly think of is to have a car instantly. Though manufacturers do often have cars available. It's just depending on demand, of course. The DTC model has so much more efficiency compared to the sales dealerships about how we buy a car. It's got to change. Current dealerships are going to turn into service and delivery centers. And if you guys are interested, I can do a video on what the future dealership is probably going to look like. And it's going to be drastically different. And it's very, very possible. So these additional dealer markups that are being put on is complete 100% profit. There is zero value in paying $5,000 extra for a car. They'll tell you that it's because of supply and demand. They have to do this to keep the lights on. This is literally what I was told. I know I said that earlier, but they will tell you anything that they want you to hear. I had a guy tell me that the EV6 is the hottest, biggest selling electric car on the market. I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, yeah, sure it is. Who do you think's better, Lucid? It's like, Lucid, no, they've only made 400 cars. Why would you think Lucid? I said, no, the Model Y is the top selling EV car right now. Okay. And we're standing in front of my Model Y. I'm like, there's my Model Y. That's the best selling car. They make 100,000. They sell 100,000 every month. So don't give me this bull that this is the hottest car. You just don't have enough of them. And you just want to make extra money. There is no value in it. It's something that will depreciate as soon as I drive off, because a car is always going to depreciate. But now this is just, why not make it $100,000? Well, because people won't buy it. Yeah, but you know what? You sell one for $100,000 and you make $50,000 in profit. Hey, you'll sell less cars, but you'll still have them available. Come on. I was willing to pay MSRP. I've never paid MSRP in my life. I swear I haven't. And I told them I'm a buyer at MSRP. I've told I think 6 dealerships that in the last 3 days. I am a buyer at MSRP. I'm not going to pay for additional dealer markups. Not a chance. I won't buy a car. I have that ability because I'm not dying to have a new car. They're getting people to pay this by pulling on the emotional strings of people and just their wants, their needs, and their desires. They want it, they think they need it, and they desire it, and they're going to pay extra money for it. It's taking advantage of people. You cut this out and you go straight direct to the consumer. I buy it from the manufacturer. I'm happy. The manufacturer gets the car. If there's anything to be made on the financing, they can make it. They designed, built, hired people, got all the supplies. They did everything that there possibly can be done to make this car. If anyone If any group is going to make the money off the car, it should be the manufacturer, not some guy who's a middleman. Absolutely not needed. So, you guys got any comments? Put them down below. If you think dealers are good for consumers, I'll assume you work for one or you are related to somebody who does. But really, in the comments, tell me what part of the sales process for a dealership has benefits for the consumer. And I will make another video telling you why you were 100% wrong. I want to thank everyone for watching. Comments, put them down below. You like this video, like it. You dislike it, it won't show up on YouTube anyway, so I don't care. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.